Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Stuck Between series. My name is Hillary Pradia Watkins, the founder, helping millennials just like you get over feeling stuck. So recently in the media, there's been a lot of talk about racism in this country, specifically racism against Black Americans who keep getting killed unarmed and also unnecessarily. So the title of today's video is Stuck Between Injustice and Peace. So recently, the deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd has sparked a lot of conversation. Not only conversation, but it's sparked a lot of anger, frustration, confusion. I mean, all these different things from so many different races of people just trying to process how they are feeling and what they are thinking about what's happening in our country. Specifically, being a Black woman, I am infuriated about what's happening in our country and what's been happening for years. This is not a new concept. This is not something that just started happening. This has been happening to brothers and sisters for years. And so I wanted to talk about this on my channel today because it's something that's not only important to me, but really it should be important to every human being. Whenever there is a human being that is being mistreated by another human being, there is a problem. And whenever there's a problem, there should be a solution. Now, typically you think law enforcement will be the solution, but when law enforcement are the ones that are causing the problem, it creates this problem on the inside, and it just makes you fearful of the future. And so as a Black woman who is married to a Black man who in the future will have Black children and possibly even birth a Black son, I am terrified for their future and don't want to pass on generational fear, but I have to do a great job of teaching my kids what it's like to grow up in this country and be Black. And so as a Christian, I want to talk about why I decided to protest, really. And the reason why I decided to protest was because here's the thing. If you stay home, there's a possibility that you can be killed, like Breonna Taylor, who was sleeping in her home and was still killed. So if I'm gonna die for something, and this is just my personal motto, I'm gonna die for something that I believe in. I wanna die for justice, and I wanna die for a great cause, for a greater cause. And so no, I don't believe in antagonizing law enforcement. I don't believe in starting riots. I don't believe in looting, because that is not the right thing to do. But I can understand why people feel angry, because them not doing anything has not produced any results. And so people are expressing themselves the way they know how. My personal way, the way I express myself, is to peacefully protest, to let law enforcement know, and to let councilmen know, and to let the White House know that this is not okay and this cannot continue in our country.
No peace! No peace! No peace!
Go ahead.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
Being a Black woman, I should not be fearful of my family's life, and I should not be fearful for my life. The week that I found out about Ahmaud Arbery's death, as a person who runs outside, especially during the quarantine, especially during this pandemic, I have ran outside almost every day since this pandemic started. And when I found out about how he died and I watched the video, I was disgusted. And I see police officers all the time while I'm running. Before I saw the video, I felt fearful. If I'm driving in my car, I feel fearful, but particularly in that situation, while I'm running outside, I do feel fearful when I see a cop, because I don't know what they think of me. I don't know if they understand that I'm just a person who just wants to work out. I don't know if they automatically assume I'm running from something because I'm Black. I don't know if they automatically assume that I'm doing something bad. And if I'm looking at them, making eye contact with them, I don't know if they feel like I'm looking at them in a guilty way. The look is really fear. And to know that that's the way people feel in this country, to know that because of my skin color that I can feel fear when I see another human being. It's a terrible way to live. I remember in 2016 when Philando Castile and Alton Sterling got killed, and I remember sitting outside the chiropractor's office. My chiropractor is a black chiropractor. Shout out to all the black doctors, okay? But yeah, I remember just sitting outside of her office and just thinking, like, would a cop take me to jail right now because he feels like I'm trespassing and I'm not supposed to be here? You know, because I have a nice car, would he assume that it's mine? Would he assume would he assume the worst? And the only way that I can describe being in this country as a black woman is, it feels terrible. When I went to Spain last summer, I talked about it a lot on my channel. If you are interested in knowing more about that, you can definitely scroll through my videos. When I went overseas last summer and I walked around, I also experienced prejudice. People would not have conversations with me. People would look at me funny. People would stay away from me. And even when I would travel with the students that I was traveling with, I was the only black student in my group that looked black. There was another African student, but she was fair skinned, had straight hair. She didn't look black. And if you did not hear her speak, and if you didn't know her background, you would not know that she was a black girl. So I was the only student out of about 25 to 30 students who looked like I look. And I felt a lot of times that there was a lack of understanding of my personal experience walking the streets of Spain, northern Spain, specifically Galicia, and their experience. It was a completely different experience. And I did not share what was happening because I didn't want to create tension with the group. Also didn't want to make them uncomfortable. But even just traveling, I felt like a stranger. I felt uncomfortable. Men, and I know that European men sometimes can be very oncoming, but I did not feel like it was from a genuine place. I felt like it was a fetish. I felt like I was something exotic. I was something that they were not used to, and to fulfill a fetish, I want to talk to you. And as a black woman, that's just not the way you want to live your life. But it does not matter. Everywhere I go, my skin color is going to be the first thing that is seen, and stereotypes are going to follow. You may have your stereotypes, good or bad or whatever, but racism should not be something that we are still dealing with the way we are dealing with it in America. And I'm just flat out tired of it. A lot of people are speaking out. We've spoken out. Houston alone, during the protest, one particular protest, the protest that when we were marching with George Floyd's family, that protest had 60,000 people, and I was one of the 60,000. And I felt proud to be black in that moment. I felt proud to stand up for something that I believed in. I felt proud that people were peacefully out there. I felt proud that people came together to hand out sanitizer and water and hand out snacks for free, just to come together to be able to say, this is not right and this is not going to continue. It felt powerful in that moment. I knew that was a moment in history, and I wanted to be a part of that. Not to just say that I did it, but to say that my voice will be heard. Whether you believe that protesting is something that you should do or not, understand that because people have been protesting, not only in this country, but around the world, there are things that have been changed. And so if you were curious as to why people were protesting, if you are a non-black person and you're just trying to understand, what can I do, or how should I feel, or anything like that, there's so much information on the internet, and honestly, black people are tired of having to make the explanation. Do your research. There are videos out there, videos like this one, and videos that go really, really, really in depth of why black people are tired, why we feel like enough is enough. There are so many names, not just George Floyd or the recent deaths. There have been deaths for years that you can do your own research on. So if you feel like there's nothing that you can do, there's plenty that you can do. And if you ask a black person if y'all are not friends, the response that you may get may be that they don't want to respond because they're tired. And a lot of people feel like justice won't be served for the years and years and decades of what's happened in this country. So I hope and pray that if you don't receive anything else from this video, I hope that you feel inspired, that if you want to donate to a cause, I'll link some in the description box below. If you want to sign the petitions, if you want to make the calls to councilmen, I will link all that in the description box below. But only having conversations is one part. There is more that needs to be done, and the work has to continue. It cannot end just because George Floyd has had funerals. It cannot end because we are not protesting like we were last week and the week before that. There has to be a continuation. If we stop here, we will not move the message forward that justice has to be served. And so hopefully today, I hope you receive from this video that you are inspired to use your voice. Use it for good. Use it for positivity. Don't use it to argue with people senselessly online, but use it for a good cause. And hopefully that good cause is justice. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next video.